Hey crocheters! This video that you're about to watch actually was recorded quite a few months ago. I didn't want to post it until I had the pattern out to testers. That way I wasn't, stringing you guys along for a really long time as I have done in the past. So it's finally out to testers, so we'll roll the video. Hello crocheters, it's me Valerie from Soul Crochet Co, and I have to say, recording the video about painting this lemon wall, which had zero things to do with crocheting, and interacting with you guys on YouTube again has really gotten me excited to crochet. So yeah, I worked on something. I actually picked up a project that I started 2 years ago because I didn't want to add another thing to the work in progress list, like it's long enough as is. And so here, proof that I started it 2 years ago. Got the date, August 1st, 2020. There's a sketch of what I wanted to make, right? A year later, I picked it up. Sea turtle. 9/10/21, and then a year later, almost a year later, we've got 8/13/22. So no, it's not 8/13 right now as I'm recording this video. It's actually the very first day of October. It takes me a while to get through these things, and I kind of think I forgot how hard it was to design patterns. I will talk more about that in a second. So since I've been working on this for 2 years, I've gone through lots of variations. One of the, in my opinion, one of the most striking aspects of a sea turtle is the shell design. I love the star shape, that you can kind of get on some of the sea turtles, especially like a green sea turtle. They seem to have this sort of blossoming star pattern on their shells, which I absolutely love. And so I tried lots of variations trying to achieve that sort of star. Here's one where they're all sewn together shape. And I ended up liking 0% of those. Yeah. I didn't like anything. And this one, I even stopped because I was like, oh, what is that? So yeah, I've been holding on to these pieces of this project for 2 years, and they're just not good at all. So what I ended up going with was actually a pretty basic shape. And I guess I'll just roll the clip of when I'm talking about it in the middle, and then I can, yeah. Here's the work in progress part. I want to show you where we are so far. It's, like anything that's work in progress, it looks a little bit weird right now, but I'm pretty pleased. Here we've got the back, we've got the shell. So we've got 3 hexagons going vertically. We've got 2 pentagons on either side, sort of giving it that oval-y shape. And then I've been working on the flippers and the belly. This is not perfect yet. It's better than my first attempt. I pulled apart my first attempt to make the flippers because it was terrible. Anyway, so I'm working on the flippers, and I've got to work a little bit more. This is rough draft, right? Remember, rough draft. Final draft will be better. Let's see. Oh yeah, the original flipper, it doesn't matter. I just did a circle. I ended up turning these into ovals because I think the proportions look quite a bit better. But the head, this is what I've got so far. This sort of shape here, thinking that it will go like that. And that will need to be sewn on. And I'm not completely in love with the shape of the head at the moment, but I do think I've got to set the body down for right now. I do think that once we get the face shaping in, where we kind of put in the corners of the eyes, and then also I like to kind of take in that chin to give it a little bit of a chin dimple. I think it's going to look really, really good. That doesn't look good to you guys, I'm sure, but I think it's going to look good. So I am optimistic. All right, so that's what it looked like then. And this is what it looks like right now. So you guys can see the head. It did come along. It looks better than it did when I was just kind of holding it up and trying to show the dimples. Keep in mind this is a rough draft. This is not a final draft. So there are some things that I want to change. I would say I'm happy with about 90% of this. Like a lot of it I really do like. The 10% I don't like, we'll go over right now. Big thing, this edge, the shell edge curls upward. And actually the shell was probably, the shell surround here was one of the things that took me like days to try and figure out. Because, I mean, shells, turtle shells, they're not just one solid piece as I've crocheted here. You know, they're different segments. And so I tried to figure out like all sorts of little different segments and stitching them together, and it looked awful. And so finally the easiest thing and the simplest thing turned out looking the best, but it took me a long time to get that. I think I worked on it for 4 days, which is absurd, but it's all part of the process. Anyway, so this shell surround still needs some help because it curls upward, and I don't like that. I did talk to my pattern testers and say, hey, I need some feedback on this. And they said a simple fix would be to just crochet in reverse, which I'd never thought of. So instead of crocheting in the spiral the way that I normally do, which I think is counterclockwise, to flip it and go clockwise. That way the spiral, or that way it will naturally lay down. So I'm excited to try that. And then the other thing that, well, two other things that I think need to change. One is the shape of my front flippers here, because if you see, so what it is, it's like an oval that has been just folded in half and then single crocheted along this edge, kind of like a taco. But I don't like that my narrow edge is at the front. And this might be like a totally nitpicky thing, but I think that I want the thicker edge at the front because that makes more sense of like what they would look like. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably a nitpicky thing, but it's something I want to change. Like I like the way that these back ones look better because they have that thicker edge up here toward the front of the body and then that narrow edge toward the back. I think it looks better. I need to work on tweaking the pattern. Also, I think my fins are actually needlessly complicated, so I'm going to work on that. And then the last thing that I think needs to change is that another, I guess, aspect that makes sea turtles look like sea turtles, and you might have noticed it in the sketch that I had from 2 years ago here. I mean, it's hard to see. I draw these things for myself, not necessarily to actually put up here, but you can see that like they've got little specks on them, and I think that needs to be incorporated into the turtle. Like I think they need some flecks on them to really show that they are sea turtles, not just your average turtle. Let me see if I can find something really quick. All right. So this is one of the back legs that I attempted to do a couple of days ago, where it has the same yarn that I've used for the shell, and I'm using it kind of to give that fleck in the leg. And I like it and I don't like it. Well, let me tell you why. So if we replace this leg here with this, I think it does give it a better, more sea turtle-y vibe, but I think the color is wrong. I think I need to do it in dark brown. And I cannot find dark brown by Bernat blanket yarn at all. But I mean, thankfully there are other options now. Big Twist Cuddle yarn, I think, is a chenille style yarn that's about the same. There's also, I think Walmart has also come out with a size 6 super bulky chenille style yarn. So I've got some options to go searching. I just have not actually bought any of them before, and it's been a while since I've like gone out and looked. So hopefully I can find something, and then I'll be able to make those changes. And my hope, fingers crossed, is that when you guys see the video of me talking about the final draft, that I will also be announcing that the pattern is done. Because wouldn't that be great? I would just be like, yay, it's done. I can go get the pattern. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what happens.